This is part 2 of the series. It's important to understand the conditions under which merchant navy men actually live their lives. And these are the facts that I find people are surprised by when I talk to them. Even during wartime, your employer was the ship's owner, not the government. Your contract was a relation to an individual ship. So when the ship sank, your contract ended, and so did your wages. It didn't matter if you were on the Titanic or the Gloucester Castle. There was no pension or compensation. Your family got nothing. News of death came from the ship's owners and was slow. You did not feature on Commonwealth war graves unless you died as a direct result of enemy action, unlike the army, where you could have died in a training accident or anything once you were in uniform. And there was no welfare state to protect families from poverty. It's also important to remember that merchant navy men were much younger than soldiers in the army or other services. You could be 13 and be on a merchant ship, and you didn't have to lie about your age if you were 14. You signed up. You could be 70 and be on a merchant ship, but you couldn't be younger than 19 and be sent to war as an army man, and you couldn't be older than 50. The slides list the men from Southampton and Hampshire who were lost on the Gloucester Castle and their addresses. Read them. You could be living in their former home. It's also important to understand how multinational the ships were, where men served side by side, knowing each of them saved the other's lives many, many times. So on that ship, along with the Southampton and Hampshire men, were a Jamaican, 3 South Africans, 2 Canadians, a man from Mauritius, and a man from New Zealand, who also died on the Gloucester Castle. And then there were the 6 women, and the 3-year-old, and the 2-year-old, who also were victims on that terrible night. And the fact that many people don't realise that merchant seamen also ended up in Japanese prisoner of war camps. And although we have some of their names, we don't have all of them. But we'll come back to that in the 4th story in our series, which will be about those who survived. The 3rd story, the next one, will be about the Michel itself.